What is the most scandalous secret you've kept from your partner? Story number 1. I've slept with her new stepmother in the past. Some things we just gotta take to the grave. It was 12 years ago, almost an entire decade before I met my partner. It's just a small-ass town. Love her dad to death, and since I found out who he was marrying, the time spent around her father and new stepmom has been minimal, and hell no, I have not talked to her new stepmother about it either. We just both know better to keep our mouths shut, stay formal, and keep conversations to a minimum. Story number 2. One time I was driving my husband's car. While I was turning, I was trying to read a small sign that pointed to the direction a park was at. Well, because my eyes were looking at the sign and not the road, I ran into a guardrail. I was going very slow, but as soon as I got to the park, I hopped out of the car to assess the damage. To my surprise, there was none. I later learned that I am just dumb and didn't look far enough on the front of the car to see the huge dent. I only learned this a couple weeks after the fact. My husband took his car to visit family, and a family member pointed out the dent to him. He told me this story, and I thought nothing of it until he returned and showed me the damage. He said he thought another car must have ran into his while it was parked. I believed all of this until I saw the car and noticed that this was likely the result of me running into the guardrail. Since it happened weeks earlier and I hadn't mentioned it to him because I didn't notice the damage, I couldn't bring myself to tell him. It's been 3 years now, and I still haven't mentioned it. It's a pretty big dent, too, like a foot wide. I am constantly reminded of it every time I see his car. Story number 3. The first time, my ex-wife and I did marriage counseling. She wanted to go to the church program. I did. We went for 6 weeks. In the 5th week, he met with us separately. He sat me down and said, "I have no issues with you. You work and provide for the family. You are the rare case where I would recommend divorce." She is not willing to budge or compromise. She then went and had her meeting, and she did not want to finish the counseling. 15 years later, she finally decided she wanted a divorce. To her surprise, the kids stayed with me. When she told that she was ready for a divorce and that she felt I did not love her like she deserved, I told her what he had said to me, and that was fine. Story number 4. 10 years ago, I was in a relationship with the singer-songwriter-producer of a semi-famous band. Not a household name, but if you're familiar with the post-hardcore rock-octane radio scene, you would definitely know who I'm talking about. There are some songs written about me, even including my nickname and events and moments we shared together, from first meeting to breaking up. When I'm driving alone in the car, I frequently revisit that album and reminisce of our time together and what could have been. I've never bragged about this relationship to my husband. He's never heard of this band, and it's just a little secret I keep to myself and listen to every so often. Story number 5. One of my past GF moved to the small city where I was stationed for work. I was a grunt working an oil field, and there was a Christian university in this town. It was the biggest thing around. Right across from the university on the main road was a strip of about 5/6 bars. I'm sure you can see what happens when a bunch of repressed religious teenagers and 19 to 22-year-old roughneck oil field workers party at the same bars. Met an amazing girl we hit off and ended up dating for quite a while. But after a while, she wanted me to go home with her for Christmas to meet the family. It was obvious the first time her dad saw me, I wouldn't go so far as saying hate, but really didn't like me. So much so, he left right after meeting me, not coming back for a few hours. I never told her, but that night, he offered me $5,000 to break up with her. He'd gone to the bank to pull the cash. That was a lot of money to a 21-year-old. But I was fairly idealistic, and I really liked this girl. I think I said something along the lines that she may be only worth $5,000 to you, but she's priceless to me, or some BS like that, LOL. It sounds kind of cringy now that I'm thinking back all these years, and if I was anything, stubborn was definitely it. We stayed together for another year or so before I got transferred to a different job site. Story number 6. I killed Sammy and blamed the cat for it. I actually stepped on it. I grew a weed that attracted the attention of a huge grasshopper. I named him Sammy. He only ate the leaves, which I wouldn't smoke anyway, so I let him stay, and Sammy hasn't left for weeks. He was even shedding. One night, I was walking past a plant in the dark and stepped on something. I heard a crunch. Sammy died instantly. I put him back in his cage and, without saying anything, went to bed. In the morning, my ex-husband found Sammy and asked when I had last seen him alive. Fearing a dangerous outburst, I blamed the cat, saying that I saw her playing with something strange, but I couldn't say for sure. As long as she didn't anger him directly, she was safe. So, in the end, nothing bad happened. I'm sorry, Sammy. Story number 7. For about a year, I didn't tell her a friend of hers proposed an affair between she and I. I was hesitant to tell at first because I am by no means a looker, and her friend was the second woman in a few weeks to do this, so I had considered I might be putting out a "I would love to cheat on my wife" vibe with women. I wouldn't cheat on her, and outright, flatly refused her friend's proposal. It was 2 weeks before COVID lockdowns, and in the middle of that my wife was diagnosed with cancer, and the whole thing slipped my mind for a few months there. When the world started to normalize for us, I told her what had been said and suggested. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed these crazy stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. Got a story of your own? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring those Reddit threads. See you soon.